Overwatch, a competitive hero-based team shooter that I have sunk far too much time in. In Overwatch, you'll be playing through a variety of different game modes and maps, but the most important thing is the hero you play, which is why I'll be going over every hero the only way I know how, like a jaded caffeine gremlin. So strap yourselves in, because the second someone gets on the cart with me, we'll be moving at a staggering 2 miles per hour. And with that, let's begin. McCree is the best dang cowboy you'll ever see in the year... 2070. McCree wields a 6-shot revolver that lets you fan the hammer to release all bullets in quick succession. However, due to a balancing issue from way back in the day, fanning the hammer now does less damage per bullet than just firing all 6 shots normally. Don't ask me how that works. It just does. In a pinch, McCree can perform a quick combat roll that reloads your gun. Also, he has a flashbang that will stun anybody close enough to smell your raw cowboy energy. McCree's ultimate ability turns you into a very slow, very bright target for everyone to shoot at. Should you live long enough with your ult active, you can fire to instantly kill anybody you've been looking at for long enough. The odds of this actually working out in your favor is little to none, which is why the best McCree combo works like this. Fan the hammer. Roll. Fan the hammer again. Ult. Cancel the ult immediately, which replenishes your ammo. Fan the hammer a third time. This is an absolutely stupid waste of time and resources, but it's fun though. D.VA is a professional gamer that decided to take her live streams to the next level by live streaming her mech in real life combat. Unfortunately, that lore was retconned, but I still choose to believe it because being able to log into Twitch one day to watch someone go on a murderous real life killing spree and everyone being chill about it is a future we're all headed towards. Between auto shotguns that never run out of ammo, jet boosters, and micro rockets, her best ability deploys a defense matrix, which deletes everything thrown into it. Some may tell you that the only counter to defense matrix is to play one of the handful of laser-based characters. I'm here to tell you that this is heresy, and nothing can stop God. Should your offerings fail to appease the defense matrix gods, D.VA hits the self-destruct button on her multi-billion-dollar mech, sending it flying into the enemy Iron Giant style, and then exploding in a nuclear blast, causing the entire map and most of the surrounding cities to be instantly annihilated. However, none of this really matters, because the second you start doing poorly, Shrek 2 on DVD will come into your lobby and beg you to switch because, and I quote, D.VA is garbage right now. Hey you wanna know a little secret the man is keeping from you? The meta is all in your head. It's what Papa Jeff wants you to think is real. Don't listen to the fake news you call patch notes. Instead, put on a tinfoil hat and come with me into a magical world where we got Jetpack Cat instead of Brig. Speaking of being an affront to God, Brigitte is what happened when the developers of this game realized people were having too much fun, and they made it their mission to put a stop to that nonsense. When she was released, she had the ability to stunlock people behind shields and could fucking fly. Nowadays, Blizzard has nerfed her from being an untouchable god to a moderate crime against humanity. Her primary method of manslaughter is swinging a mace back and forth. Every hit sends out a wave of healing aura to yourself and nearby allies. Normally, if you're being assaulted by a Brigitte holding down WM1, you'll hear this voice line on repeat.
Mace to the face. Mace to the face. Mace to the face.
If that doesn't make you want to voluntarily pop your eardrums, I don't know what will. Additionally, she can bring up a personal shield. When she was released, this shield had a health bar thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Today, whenever you deploy your shield, you're better off using a paper plate for protection instead. Brigitte can also shield bash anyone within hugging distance, instantly stunning them, or smack the shit out of them from a mile away using the power of her extendo mace. If this wasn't bad enough, her ultimate gives you a speed boost and provides all nearby allies with armor, effectively turning everybody into a tank. Widowmaker is what makes arachnophobes very sexually confused. She's a sniper that offers high burst damage potential, provided you're lucky enough to land a headshot. Her primary fire is the equivalent of throwing many small pebbles at a random stranger. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it will annoy them. You can transform your pebble throwing machine into a boulder throwing machine, also known as a trebuchet. Landing a fully charged headshot will reward you with a sweet, sweet sound of... and will fill your brain with serotonin. Widowmaker has a grappling hook that allows you to live your fantasy of playing a better game for a very brief moment. You can also violate the Geneva Convention by introducing chemical weaponry to the battlefield in the form of a venom mine. Triggering this mine instantly fills your lungs with liquid pain. You're also capable of cheating in every game of hide and seek ever with your ultimate that lets you see through walls.
No one can hide from my sight.
Tracer is the poster child of Overwatch. She's a high-speed time wizard who can bend the laws of this universe to her will. However, she's British. Tracer makes use of her rapid-fire pulse pistols, which will only do damage to people if you're within hugging range. You can instantly teleport forward a short distance and recall back to whatever position you were at 3 seconds ago. Just be sure that location was not off a cliff. Tracer's ultimate throws out a pulse bomb that, again, only does damage if it's within hugging distance. One neat little feature that this ultimate has is if you die before the bomb makes contact with anything, it just fucking disappears, and your ult percentage sets to 0. Thanks, Blizzard. Junkrat is what happens when you give an Australian explosives. His primary fire shoots projectiles that will detonate on impact. You can also throw out a concussion mine. Standing on the mine while it explodes is definitely a good idea. At one point during this game's lifespan, Junkrat was not considered a very good hero. During a drunken fit, the developers said fuck it and gave him 2 mines in an attempt to increase his pick rate. Now, there is no god, only a flying Junkrat. Junkrat also carries around a large steel bear trap that will prevent anyone caught in it from moving for a short time. It does not matter how good you think you are at this game, you will, inevitably, find yourself stuck in one of these in the stupidest spots on the map. Junkrat's ultimate ability is a highly mobile, highly explosive device on wheels. Wheel. It's basically an RCXD on a unicycle. Roadhog is Junkrat's partner in crime. Behind the mean, brutal, murderous exterior is a soft, lovable, murderous human being. Roadhog's weapon is a shotgun that fires literal garbage at people. You can choose between 2 firing modes, close and slightly closer. If your meal is just out of range, you can hook them closer to you so you can shoot your garbage all over their face and then proceed to punch them to death. Roadhog is also capable of hitting the fattest vape, decreasing incoming damage and healing you better than the United States healthcare system. Your ultimate ability overloads your shotgun with garbage, allowing you to mow down large groups of enemies at once, like the meat blender God intended you to be. Bastion is a prime example of ludonarrative dissonance. In lore, he is a peaceful omnic with a heart of gold trying to overcome his tragic history of being a machine built for war. In-game, he's a bloodthirsty killing machine that will stop at nothing to ensure your corpse looks like Swiss cheese when he's done with you. Bastion has 3 configurations. You can swap between recon and sentry configurations by the press of a button. Bastion's ultimate transforms you into his 3rd configuration, a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Zarya was a competitive weightlifter who turned into a professional racist, and now uses her racist powers to end the life of omnics everywhere. Her primary weapon is a big fuck-off laser that can do anything between slightly discomfort you and burn your flesh off. As Zarya, you can cast a protective bubble on yourself and an ally of your choice. If the bubble takes damage, this little number on your screen goes up. The higher the number, the more people you can reduce to ash. Zarya's ultimate creates a literal black hole, the size of a small black hole. This will pull nearby enemies into it, allowing for easy follow-up damage from your team, provided they're still alive. Zenyatta is an omnic monk who said, "Fuck peace and tranquility, I want blood," and is now traveling the world kicking ass and taking names. Unfortunately, his bones are made of glass and his skin is made of paper. While his maximum HP may not be as low as some characters, he's still the most vulnerable. But don't let that discourage you. Zenyatta fires large projectiles at people that hurt like hell. You can also charge up your projectiles and send a volley of pain that will make anyone you fire at instantly shit themselves in fear. Zenyatta's ultimate grants you immortality, a speed boost, and a large mass healing radius, so whenever your team complains about you not healing them, you can give it all to them in one go. Orisa is Blizzard's greatest missed opportunity. What's the point of adding a horse to the game if I can't ride it into combat? Orisa specializes in bunkering down and providing
aggressive sustained counterfire.
When you feel like the enemy needs a good team building exercise, you can launch a miniature Zarya ult to pull them closer together. You can also launch a shield that, when placed on a payload, makes it look like a pirate ship. You should really name a composition after that. Your ultimate places down a bongo that increases the damage dealt by nearby allies, and provides enough pretty particle effects to hopefully make your team forget that they can't ride you into combat. Soldier 76 gets a lot of flack for being generic Call of Duty man, but is probably one of the most fun damage dealers you can play. As Soldier, you can dish out a laser of hit-scan bullets. You also have a noob tube strapped to the bottom of your gun that you can use to one-shot combo tracers. They won't see it coming, and it's hilarious every time. Your shift ability lets you sprint. However, if you get hacked by Sombra, your legs stop functioning. Originally, there was a theory about how Soldier has robotic legs, which would explain why this interaction happens. However, with a certain skin, we can clearly see that is not the case. Personally, I think he's just old and tired, so he uses Sombra's hack as an excuse to stop running. Your E ability drops a can of beer that heals anyone close enough to smell it. And if you get tired of aiming, you can use his ultimate to aim for you. Hanzo is a member of the Shimada clan and is the brother of Genji. He also lives a secret double life as a lumberjack because he fires full logs instead of arrows out of his bow. Hanzo has many different types of arrows in his quiver, such as his sonic arrow, which highlights enemies through walls, acting like a miniature Widowmaker ult. You can also rapid fire slightly smaller logs at people. And when you're finally sick of the enemy team's shit, you can fire twin ghost dragons that eat souls for sustenance. Genji is the younger, funnier, better in every way brother of Hanzo. With his highly attuned reflexes and ability to survive off of anime openings alone, makes him a true master of the blade. Genji can dash through enemies, and if he secures a kill with this ability, his dash cooldown resets. This allows you to pull off some really flashy plays that ultimately boil down to you just pressing shift a bunch. You're also capable of deflecting projectiles back at enemies, turning their damage into our damage. Genji's ultimate ability is where he shows you the last item in his Mall Ninja collection, his katana.
My name is Green Cyborg Ninja Dude.
Lucio is hands down the best character in the game. I'm not biased. He's the living embodiment of the phrase, skate fast, eat ass, and will do just that in every game he's in. Lucio has the ability to wall ride, which increases his overall movement speed and reminds you that you could be playing a better game right now. You can also switch between two auras. You have a speed aura that increases everyone's base speed, and a healing aura that will slowly heal anyone within range. I affectionately refer to these two as the best choice you can make all game, and the yellow one. Lucio can also boop enemies back if they get too close, or, a more likely scenario, you get too close. Your ultimate ability lets you drop the beat and create a large sound wave that provides an extra barrier of health to all nearby allies. I don't care what anyone says, using Lucio's ult from the skybox is an optimal play. Symmetra is the hero that has gone through the most rework since the game's release. Currently, she's still pretty shit. But if you can stay alive long enough, you'll transcend the mortal coil and become an unstoppable god of microwaves. Your primary fire is a small laser beam that, if held on the target for a set amount of time, will slowly begin to ramp up in damage. Shooting a shield with this laser not only lets the damage ramp up, but also replenishes your ammo. Your secondary fire allows you to charge up big balls of hard light energy. They're slow moving, don't look very menacing, but my god do they hit like a truck. Symmetra's ultimate creates a barrier that is infinite in length. You might be thinking to yourself, wow, that sounds really busted, and normally you'd be correct. But in this case, it's just more annoying than anything. Torbjorn is an engineer whose entire gameplay loop involves changing Overwatch into a tower defense. Additionally, he's one of the few characters who we can confirm has had canonical sex at least once in his life. I mean, look at him. Torbjorn's rivet gun is a multi-tool that doubles as a sniper and a shotgun, depending on what you need it to do. He can also deploy a turret that will slowly upgrade itself and will target whoever you shoot. Look at it, it's so cute! You can also get really angry, and your ultimate is, questionable at best. Winston is a genetically modified scientist from the moon. If you think that's weird, trust me, it gets weirder. Winston's primary fire is the equivalent of sticking 100 metal forks into an outlet just to see what happens. His secondary fire does absolutely nothing, but if you're on PC, I highly recommend rebinding it to melee so you can do some sick monkey combos. Winston's shift ability activates your moon shoes, sending you flying into space, never to be seen again. Though if you do come back down, you'll do a hefty amount of damage to whoever's unlucky enough to be below you. If you feel like you're spending too much time outside of your comfort bubble, you can deploy Winston's failed childhood science project that casts a spherical shield to protect you and your allies from danger. Winston's ultimate transforms him from a genetically modified moon scientist to an angry genetically modified moon scientist. In this form, you can brutally bat opponents around and bully their lunch money out of them. Speaking of bullying people and being from the moon, Wrecking Ball, aka Hammond, aka Little Rat Bastard, is a genetically modified engineer that, even with his high IQ, figured the best mode of transportation is still via hamster ball. As Hammond, you roll around the battlefield at moderately high speeds, causing inconvenience to the enemy team. You can also shoot a grappling hook. Attaching this hook to any nearby surface will let you gain even more speed, or turn your play session into a game of tetherball between two Lucios. If you're airborne and you want to not be airborne anymore, you can initiate a pile drive that will instantly and violently crush anybody beneath you. Your ultimate ability lets out many high explosive hamster droppings that stick around for an absurdly long time, unless manually detonated by the bodies of your enemies. Doomfist wields a large destructive gauntlet that amplifies his fisting powers. As an act of good sportsmanship, Doomfist uses his non-gauntlet wearing hand to melee people. When you're done being a good sportsman, you can charge up a deadly punch that knocks enemies away from you. If your target makes contact with a wall after being punched, they'll take additional damage. Pressing E will send you flying forward and cause a seismic slam in front of you. From here, you can uppercut anyone caught in the slam and make sure they have a very bad day. Doomfist's ultimate will send you to the moon, where you suffocate to death and have to pick a new character. Ash is the rich girl who had everything, but decided she didn't have enough, so she became a bank-robbing outlaw with her robot butler Bob. Ash wields a rifle that somehow does more damage when you aim down sights. She can also pull out a small shotgun that can be used to propel yourself in the opposite direction or push enemies off a cliff. Ash can throw a stick of dynamite. Shooting it will cause it to explode instantly, burning everyone in range slowly and painfully. Your ultimate ability summons Bob to the battlefield. While Bob is active, he acts as a temporary 7th member of your team. He's capable of capping objectives, stalling points, and most importantly, slaughtering all who oppose him. Baptiste was created to fill the niche of 3-round burst weaponry, but was instead given what is arguably the most overpowered ability of all time. Pressing E will throw a frisbee-like projectile wherever you're aiming. Once the projectile lands, a ring of invincibility will be created. That's right, any ally within that ring literally cannot die unless the frisbee is destroyed first. Once everyone is nice and immortal, you can calmly heal them back to full health using your barrel-mounted healing impact grenades. Baptiste comes equipped with his own personal moon shoes, which he can use to get those juicy angles on everyone else. Your ultimate creates a wall of energy that increases the damage of whatever is fired through it. If you use all of these abilities at once, Baptiste becomes an immortal frog with a minigun mounted to his back. Mei is my sleep paralysis demon, and after a few matches with her on the enemy team, she'll be yours too. Mei's primary fire lets loose a stream of liquefied frozone juices that slow and eventually stop your enemies in their tracks. Once your opponent is completely helpless, you can violently end their life by shoving an icicle down their throat. This icicle has no fall-off damage and makes you the best sniper in the game. If you get in too much heat, you can create a wall that separates you from the rest of society, or you can cool off inside your ice block, which not only makes you immortal, but also heals you the longer you stay in the ice. Your ultimate ability sacrifices the cute little robot you keep on your back as it explodes into a blizzard that freezes all enemies inside. Fun fact, you can speed up the process by freezing them yourself while they're inside your ult. If you listen closely, you can hear the muffled screams of the person you just froze, begging you for mercy. Speaking of mercy, Mercy is who you play when you want to play Ana but don't want to think. Regardless, she's one of the most recognizable characters from this game. Even if you've never heard of Overwatch until now, I guarantee you've seen her at some point on the internet, one way or the other. Mercy carries around a staff that suctions a healing beam to an ally of your choice, which will heal them over time. Additionally, you can switch your healing beam to a hurting beam, boosting the damage output of whoever you're targeting. Her shift ability allows you to fly to an ally of your choice. Members of the community say Mercy has the best mobility in the game because of this. I disagree. Mobility should not have to factor in the position of random dipshit teammates. Mercy can also resurrect a fallen ally after a short channel time, normally interrupting whatever snacks your ally was eating during their own kill cam. Mercy's ultimate allows you to fly around the map at moderately high speeds, which will let you roleplay as an AC-130. Is your team not killing anyone? Are they about as useless as a Catholic abstinent sex education class? Then it's time to pull out Mercy's personal Glock and take matters into your own hands. Reaper is the go-to character for edgy teenagers. Reaper wields 2 shotguns. Instead of reloading them, he commits the ultimate sin, littering. Then pulls a fresh pair of shotguns from his oversized trenchcoat. Reaper is one of the many characters in this game with an oh shit button, which transforms you into a wraith form where you are impervious to damage. Reaper's ultimate turns you into a modified Beyblade for a short duration and will get you banned from school. Farah is what happens when you give a security guard a jetpack and a rocket launcher. With these tools at her disposal, she rains her own warped sense of justice down on those who dare question her ethics. Pressing shift will boost you high into the air. Afterwards, you'll immediately die because you just made yourself an easy target for the 7 hit-scan heroes on the enemy team. Farah's ultimate fires a barrage of rockets that do an insane amount of damage. Sounds nice on paper, but this also makes you a stationary target suspended in the air, which means you'll be hearing a lot of this.
Justice reigns from above!
Moira is a healer that adds 0 utility to your team's composition. What she lacks in utility, she makes up for in a complete lack of utility. Moira sprays a mist of yellow healing juices that has the same texture and smell of urine ran through a misting fan. Instead of taking the low road and calling her primary fire P, I will refer to it as a refreshing blast of Sunny D mist to avoid demonetization. Let's be real though, there's no way in hell this video is getting monetized. Your secondary fire allows you to tickle the enemy to death by slowly sucking out their soul and then converting said soul into Sunny D mist. Moira can also use an ability called Fade, which acts like a short-range teleport you can use to get behind the enemy to continue sucking their soul out. Moira can choose to throw one of 2 orbs out, a Sunny D orb of pleasure or a soul-sucking orb of bullshit. These orbs will bounce around healing or damaging anyone unlucky enough to have their game volume at max. Her ultimate combines the refreshing juices of Sunny D and soul-sucking pain into one super laser that has the secondary effect of acting like a flashbang. I don't know what's going on and I can't see shit. Anna is by far the best healer in the game. After a tragic sniping accident which resulted in losing her right eye, Anna adapted by using her left eye to aim down sight. Rather than switch to her left arm for holding her rifle, she instead chose to give herself horrible scoliosis. Anna's primary weapon shoots a homemade Sunny D concoction that heals allies and hurts enemies, so it doesn't matter who you shoot. You'll be helping your team one way or the other. Anna can fire a small sleep dart loaded with an ungodly amount of melatonin, instantly putting your target to sleep for several seconds. You can also throw out the Jirathi 2.0, which allows your allies to heal faster and your enemies to not heal at all. Anna's ultimate, Nano Boost, injects an almost lethal dose of methamphetamine directly into the bloodstream of an ally of your choice. This will boost their total damage output and reduce incoming damage to them. Personally, I like nano boosting and ulting Zenyatta, as it makes really pretty lights. Reinhardt is hands down the most likable person in Overwatch. Seriously, just listen to this guy. I'd definitely get a drink with him. The most fun you can have in this game is by having a Reinhardt duel with both of you being pocketed by an Anna. Look at them. Pure joy. Reinhardt does not have a gun. Instead, he opts to swing a giant rocket-propelled hammer around to absolutely style on the enemy weaklings. If said weaklings are out of your range, you can close the distance with a charge. Some people say you should unbind this ability because using it off cooldown is considered feeding. I say, bind your S key to charge so you'll never be tempted to retreat again. You can launch a fire strike at your opponents. It's one of the slowest projectiles in the game, but it goes through shields and people like butter. Reinhardt's ultimate has him slamming his massive, girthy, meaty hammer into the ground, creating a literal earthquake that will cost millions in property damage. Sigma has a really interesting backstory and also has a really good kit. However, nobody cared about any of that shit when he was released because everybody was too focused on his toes. Sigma's primary weapon launches 2 balls that will bounce around and do damage when they come into contact with anyone. You can also send out a barrier that will travel as far as you want so long as you keep the button held. In a world full of amazing new technologies, Sigma prefers to go back to basics and throws large rocks at people. Your ultimate lifts everyone within a radius up into the air, making them easy targets, and then slams them down for 50% of their max HP. It's super effective. At the time of writing, Echo is the most recent character introduced to Overwatch. Her personality quirk is that she has everyone's personality quirk. Her ultimate revolves around picking an enemy player and literally becoming that player for a short duration. If that wasn't enough, she can also fly and shoot laser down at the puny mortals below. If Mercy is an AC 130, Echo is the Hammer of Dawn. Sombra is a bitch. And there you have it. You officially know less about Overwatch than before you watched this video. You're welcome. See you in Overwatch 2.